All right, everyone. It is your favorite show with your favorite host, Jimmy Auffant, local extraordinaire attorney or attorney extraordinaire, grandfather, father, husband, son, and fascinating ice cream maker. Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
You're fine. I'm fine. How are you? How's your week been? Boy, it's
It's
been
been
quite a week.
it has been quite a week, Jimmy. It feels like a month, right?
Oh yeah, and
It's unbelievable.
supposedly January is supposed to be slow in
Oh,
politics, but not
you
around
think
here.
it is a new age. I mean, what's happening in our world, you can't really, sleep on anything because, you wake up and boom, your news feed is filled with, so many things that are interesting and popping off. It's just like, okay, where to start? I've got content saved in my laptop that I created, but something new happens and I was like, oh, let me get on top of that. And then I'll say that because something else pops off.
As a matter of fact, it's never boring, neither in Central Florida or nationally. We
That's true. That's very true.
we have news every day. Every day, it used to be, well, we do the national because that's what's picking up, but now, no, 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 we need to pick up the the local because here we're having things coming up every day. So yeah. So what do you
This
want?
is,
You want to start national? Or you want to start local?
I want to start local, Jimmy, because we talked about split oak forest last week. And I know there's a lot of local activity and conversation happening, among other things, in regards to split oak. In the recent court decision, that pretty much has said that the voters of Orange County um, should their vote to support the commission to vote against having a toll road go through Split Oak should be heeded by the commission, and it's an important issue for the local community. I'd like to start there first, seeing that you were intricately involved, intricately, incredibly involved
Okay.
with the Split Oak charter amendment, getting it passed and it being implemented. So I'd just like to know your point of view as far as the court case and where do we go from there?
Okay. Let's start from this. The Central Florida Fairway with the Mormon Church and other developers who want to develop an area uh, near Osceola County decided that it would be a good idea to put a road bridge over Split Oaks to get into uh, their area so they could develop it. They even tried to misinform the public to say to them, hey, you're coming here today to let us know, but all we're doing today is giving permission for the Central Florida Fairway Authority to go to Tallahassee and say, hey, Tallahassee, uh, would you consider this as a vote? And that was the real reality that went there. At that time, I was sitting in the CRC, and I knew that there was a lot of community who objected to this. A lot of developers who were buying out commissioners and others to push it. I mean, Osceola County was purchased by and standard. As a matter of fact, even paid for the attorneys who challenged Orange County's ability to take a vote from their residents, which of course now acknowledge was a good idea, and
Mhm.
now acknowledges that forces Orange County to do something. So I said to myself, okay, let me write an amendment, sat down with the counsel for the CRC, rewrote the amendment, reproposed it. It was back, came out of committee by a supermajority. I think only three voted against it, and and it went then to the voters. It passed, as we all know, by 86%. And not
Correct.
only that, let's clarify this for those of you who don't vote here frequently. In that ballot, in that, and you had president, U.S. senator, U.S. congressmen, state representative, state senators, commissioners, water and soil, and everything else. And and state constitutional amendments, for the record, and then amendments to the Charter of Orange County. It was at the end of the ballot, 2-page ballot, for the record.
That's
Just
right.
so everybody knows, it was a 2-page ballot. Yet, there were people who did not vote for their state senators or state representatives, but they voted for Split Oaks. They didn't vote for their commissioners, but voted for Split Oaks. 86% of the people who voted said, yes, preserve this. That's what forced the court to say, hey, wait a minute. This is not a 51 or 52. No, this was by a large margin. This is what you would call a super vote. This was a mandate. And it was. And at this point, people have to understand that Split Oak is an area that has been designated as an area to be preserved, to be maintained, where turtles live, where other wildlife lives, and really 45% to 50% of it is underwater. And the other rest of it is not that solid for construction. But they want to put a road, and this is what bothers me, from the airport to this area. There's other roads that connect to the area that they're about to develop. It's not that this is the only road. This is for those who come from the airport all the way to the area they're going to develop. They have done it like it's in your face. We don't care what you voted for. We don't care that we don't have the okay of one of the 3 trustees of Split Oaks, which is Orange County. And it's going to be an interesting battle in court to say how they could develop this when one of the 3 trustees objects to it.
And in the ballot initiative, was the county commission bound to vote the way of the outcome of the ballot initiative, or they could still do whatever they wanted to do?
Well, this is where it became interesting. There was not an option given in the ballot. Mm-hmm. It was basically that the commissioners could not approve any type of construction in Split Oaks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Zero. Zinch. Nada. So basically, it was, the developers say, hey, I want to develop here. Our hands are tied.
Right.
Charter says we cannot do that. So basically, when they're about to put a road, they have to defend their charter, saying, no, we cannot approve or agree that that area is going to be developed. And they keep saying it's not a development, it's a bridge. You're constructing. I'm sorry. And they cannot approve any construction. We knew the advantage I had when I prepared a charter. I knew what they were going to do. They were going to construct a road over it. And basically, we said no.
Right.
Oh, we could look. This is the problem that we have, and it's not only local, but it's national. Let me give you an example. Many years ago, it was clean. Oh my God, the black rock that we put in our steam.
Oh, clean coal.
Clean coal. Yes, I couldn't remember the word. Clean coal. That doesn't exist. But we were led to believe that it does exist. As a matter of fact, for many years, OUC told us that what they're burning down in District 4 is clean coal, and now we know that there's a lot of people with and asthma and all those other conditions because of that coal. But people, oh, it's clean coal. Hey, it's unleaded. Well, that's better for the engine, but not necessarily for the environment.
Right.
So when that's the, and what did they tell us? Well, we're just going to be building a road through it, but it's not going to affect the forest. Yes, it is. You're putting phosphates in it. You're going to be killing the vegetation around it and all that. No. You have destroyed it. So no. This is the part that I have a problem with. They lie to us all the time, and and sometimes we just buy it.
And I remember, if I remember correctly, this particular charter amendment received the highest number of total votes among all of the charter amendments at the time. And if I remember correctly, again, perhaps received more votes than, like you said, many of the other items on the ballot, including for, commissioner, for instance.
Yeah,
So,
it did.
so
And
that,
this is the problem. It's not only that it won by 86%, but more people voted for that than anything else. And the strange thing is that the only publicity that Split Oak received was really social media.
that's true. That's true. I remember. I remember being out with some of the supporters sign waving on OBT. As a matter of fact, just south of the 408, and that was fun. It's a quiet Sunday morning, but it was still fun. So now that the court validates the voters, what's next? Does the other parties appeal the decision? How does that go,
They
Jimmy?
could appeal the decision. I'm just wondering on what basis. Is
Mhm.
the decision incorrect? No. Did it not follow procedure? It did. Was it based on misinformation? No. Was it based on facts, not in evidence? No. So I'm not sure why they're going to appeal. Look, they, they can. I'm not sure if it's going to go that far. And who's going to finance it is going to be a question. That's not a cheap procedure. And I'm not sure if there's that much money in the budget of Osceola County and in the state of Florida to
Right.
do it. So time would only tell if they do. And if they do, I have no doubt that it's going to be sustained. So it's going to be a waste of time. But look, they are going to give it a fight as much as they can,
Sure.
and they're going to try to build. And if I have to lay down in the middle of the road, I'm welcome to do that. Okay.
We don't want that to happen, Jimmy.
Oh, no. Hey, I'm
So,
not. Yeah,
so if others are interested in being a part of, the effort to save Split Oak, what should they do?
there is. You could go on. Believe it or not, you could go online and put Save Split Oaks, and there's an organization that you could become a member. And I invite you to become a member, and you could pay the annual dues, and they will tell you where they have meetings and where they discuss things, and they could even give you the literature so you could talk to your neighbors and you could talk to your friends and your enemies. Say, hey, this is something worth saving. And believe it or not, you could go and walk it. It's a beautiful place. I mean, it's
It
a
is.
place that is beautiful. I walked it a couple of times, and I know you walked it. And I remember in 2016, it became a campaign issue in one of our favorite campaigns, and helped our candidate win when she said she would do everything in her power to save it. And the other person said, "Nah, it's going to be developed. Who cares?"
Yeah. Yeah, she was kind of flippant about it. So,
Yeah.
and she did not win. Can I want to stay local because this is a really hot issue, which I know what's coming up because we're seeing things just again go bonkers in Minnesota, and now the temperature is rising here in Central Florida, Orlando in particular, because ICE is now conducting their investigations here, and there is a conversation about ICE renting or using a facility or several facilities here in Orlando for to detain ICE detainees. What do you know about what's going on, Jimmy?
They're going to rent a place near the airport because they don't. This way, they don't have to pay the counties for using their jails, which the law requires them to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And they're concerned that these people are in a local jail and they are being able to talk to police officers. The local Orange County judge says, "Hey, yeah, John Smith is here. You want to talk to him? You're an attorney? Sure. Show me your credentials? Sure. Here he is. You can talk to him." They want to take him into their facility. And I said, "I don't give a shit if you're an attorney. You're not talking to John Smith." We were keeping him under there. At the same time, the problem that they're having and why they're doing this is because they've been caught up on their lies. What do I mean by their lies? Well, now we know who's there.
Right.
And we know if they say, well, we arrested a bunch of people who are sex perverts. Look, today, to find out if somebody's a sex pervert, that's easy according on the internet. There's more than one site that will tell you that. And you can go onto the clerk's office and find out if this person's ever been convicted of any crime. And there's ways of finding it out. But ISIS always said, we're only arresting criminals and their sex perverts and so on and so on. By putting them in their facilities, you're not going to know who's there, and you're going to have to trust their lies. Look, and I say their lies because Minnesota has become kind of interesting on both sides.
Okay.
One, they killed a young lady who panicked because she was about to be attacked, and maybe she did something stupid, and I will say that, but it should never cost her life. Okay? Never. Okay? The people are infuriated about that. It's kind of interesting. So were the people about the two people who were choked, one in New York and one in Minnesota, for the record.
Okay.
People got angry about that. Oh, they shouldn't be protesting. Why not? That's our right, constitutional right, to protest. Yes. And that ICE took out an Asian man from a house in his underwear in the cold and said that he was a suspect, found out that he was a U.S. citizen, naturalized 25 years ago. Ooh. If you want to be technical about it, but you're naturalized, you're still a citizen. Okay. And then they said, well, he was living with sexual perverts and people, and people in Minnesota who were doing their research found out the names of the people who lived in that house and basically found out that they had no criminal records whatsoever. Then that ICE was lying about it. You have to understand, I don't put ICE in the same category as law enforcement. Law enforcement gets proper training. Law enforcement is something local. They know how to deal with their local. ICE is trying to make a name for himself because I never seen a cop here breaking a window to get somebody out because they suspect he might be the wrong person.
Sure.
Never seen that. Okay? Never seen that. That's not our local police. So I put one in one category and the other. Here locally, what they're trying to do is they're going to start arresting people and they're going to put them there and nobody's going to know who's there. And that is the part that's becoming dangerous. We know that they have arrested U.S. citizens. We know they arrested people for speaking Spanish. As a matter of fact, there's a threat to arrest Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. Go for it, baby.
He's Puerto Rican.
I know, but hey, to many people, he don't speak English.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
And believe it or not, many people don't consider Puerto Ricans Americans. So that's a story for another day. But ICE is going to be arresting people left and right. They're going to be at Lowe's. They're going to be at Home Depot. They're going to go to the taquerias. They're going to go to every place they can and just going in and taking out. And that is not the way our system works. The mere fact that you speak Spanish doesn't make you a criminal. Okay?
True.
The mere fact that you're around criminals doesn't make you a criminal.
That's true.
For certain, I like this joke, but I heard it from another friend of ours who's from Chicago. Well, no, I don't think you know him. Take that back. Who's from Chicago who says, hey, walking down the streets in Chicago, you're walking with criminals. And I'm like, yeah, you might have a point.
Oh, man.
Or my old-time favorite was in New York. If you go into City Hall, you talk to the politicians, you're talking to criminals. So You know,
Oh boy.
the mere fact that you associate with somebody doesn't make you that. You know, and I'm going to say how stupid this sounds. I have never asked a human being, "Hey, do you have a record?" before I talk to them.
Right. Right.
Okay, to say that you walk in a neighborhood in the Bronx or in certain areas of Chicago, and you're talking to people on the street that they have a chance that they have a record. Yeah, they do.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
is that justified reason to arrest me?
No.
Or I'll go a step further. We all have a black sheep in our family. Is that a reason to arrest the whole family? So the problem that I have with ICE is that ICE has been trained to scare.
Right.
You break windows, you take people out of the house, you arrest them and ask questions later, even if they're telling you that they're U.S. citizens. If they don't look white, you ask them to identify themselves. And it's interesting because I remember my last trip to San Juan. It was a couple of guys from ICE, and they were asking everybody for ID, and there was a couple of people that looked like they were tourists. Okay, and they were flying and all of this, and they were talking in English and saying how great time they had in San Juan. They didn't ask them a question. They just let them go. That is my problem.
Okay.
You know, that
Yeah.
that is my problem. And my problem is not, do you have the right to question? I'm not going to say no. You do. My grandmother used to tell me, it's the way you do it. You could approach a young lady, say, "Hi, look, I don't know you. I would like to know you. I don't know what I'm doing. I all I know is I like you and I might be screwing up." Yeah, fine. You do that. The other way, "Hey, you, mama, come here. You got a good butt." No,
That's not gonna happen.
it's not going to happen. So, what it is a matter of how you do it. And the problem that I have with ICE is they're doing it wrong, they're lying about it, and then they're keeping their actions secret. I did not think we had a secret police in this country, but it's called ICE. And that is why I say, and I've been saying, it's not defund ICE, it's control ICE. How we control them. They're part of an extension of our government. And hey, this is the way you're going to behave. Okay?
Right.
You represent me. This is the way you are going to behave. And if you cannot behave this way, I'm not going to stop defunding you. You are fired. Look, I never forget that when I had my first job, the supervisor told me, "You are the face of the company.
That's right. That is correct.
And with the way you portray yourself, you're portraying the company." So this is the way we do things. Right now, ICE, you portray our country. And the way you're portraying it scare a lot of us. And you're doing it incorrectly. There's
Jimmy,
nothing bad with being polite. As a matter of fact, remember Roadhouse.
yes, I do. Good movie.
Be polite,
Yes.
be nice,
Mm-hmm.
take it outside, and you only become physical when you have to.
That's right.
Not start physical to later, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were a criminal."
Mm-hmm.
Because the young lady that they shot in Minnesota, I'm sorry. I've read her arrival. I saw her picture. What gives you the credential that that woman could be a criminal is, I don't know. I mean, since when a parent says, "Show me that you're a criminal"?
I can debate that with you.
You could debate that, yeah. Well,
I mean, I remember in the 80s, the profiling and things like that. Your point is valid.
yeah. I mean, they never stopped a white person. As a matter of fact, I remember Schaff, the second one, where he says that the white boy who killed the black kid at the bar,
Okay.
he says, cops here in this state, in this city, would never stop you. Just look like another white boy.
Yeah.
But you committed murder.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's true.
Because, it never ceases to amaze me that. But yeah, they're building that facility here, and I'm concerned that many of our friends might end up in there.
Jimmy, I want to get your opinion on this because you touch on a couple of things that I've been concerned about, and I was on Reddit again. That wormhole, that oh man. But anyway, I was on the Orlando subreddit, and I read that a gentleman, um, Brazilian national, is coming to visit,
Hmm.
and he had some concerns about whether or not it would be okay for him and his family to visit. He'll have all his paperwork, his visa, passport, per usual, in order and readily available, per usual. And then he kind of dropped into the in his message that he's on the tourist visa with some other people. However, some others may also be on the tourism visa, but may also work while they're here in violation of their visa. And so he asked the opinion of the Redditors, is it a good idea to come visit? So there were two things going on in his message. One, he's visiting tourist visa.
But he's not visiting.
Yeah, and he kind of put it on someone else, but I think he was speaking of himself. And what bothered me, what was concerning, is that we have a tourism economy here. It's our driving uh, financial force, and the Redditors who commented and dominated the conversation were saying, "Oh, don't come to Orlando," and they were just saying some things that were just not true about how dangerous it is, how in the streets people are being swooped up and disappeared, and it's just not good at all, and no wiggle room at all. And there were some redditors who's like, that's not true. I've been out on iDrive recently, travel from here to Claremont and back recently, go out around my neighborhood, and it's business as usual. But then you get a group, a very vocal group, a very articulate group, just saying, just don't come to Orlando. And I think the intention may be well, or the intention may be, just saying, hey, we're concerned, but the circumstances could be catastrophic for the economy.
Let me put it the way I would have responded to that. As long as you stay in iDrive, as long as you stay in Disney, Legoland, Universal, in that area, you would have no problem.
Hmm.
But if you come in here and you're going to go walk into Home Depot talking Brazilian, if you're going to be doing work here and the only paperwork you have is tourist visa, you're going to there's a chance you might get picked up.
Yeah.
As long as you're in the tourist area, you're safe.
Hmm.
It's like saying, but there's certain neighborhoods in which if you are with the new facilities of ICE, they might come and pick up people. Yeah, look, it's a well-known factor that people who do not have papers do not stand out of Home Depot here in Orlando, because even though they picked up once that we know of,
Yeah.
that like they most would say that was once enough. And I understand that. So I'm not criticizing one way or the other.
Okay.
Would I go into uh, areas that are not tourists with a tourist visa? No. Would
Hmm.
I go into a place that, and it doesn't say what kind of work he's going to be doing, but God forbid that he's doing some work that that somebody knows about, yeah, he's here doing something illegal, and yes, he could be picked up. That I would have said, but that there's dangerous areas here, not yet. Is it
Mm.
possible? Well, yeah, with ice, everything is possible. But as of today, I would have to say I disagree with that. That there's people disappearing in this town that I have not seen yet. I have not heard. What I the only thing, as a matter of fact, to be quite honest, is kind of interesting because for the last 3 weeks we know that the Venezuelans have been on the streets celebrating, and nothing's happened to them. So,
Right. Right.
no, I wouldn't say that it's dangerous, but it's dangerous to come here with a tourist visa and try to work because that's
Yeah.
an illegal act, and
That's
that
right.
for that you can be deported.
That's right. That's right. So, jumping from Central
Local,
Florida all the way over to Davos, it's been quite the show in Davos, Jimmy. The president gave his speech. There's a new world order, out with the globalists and in with national sovereignty. What's your thoughts on what's happening in Davos and the whole Greenland agreement allegedly that was made? What's
there was
going
no
on?
agreement made, but let's clarify.
Okay.
Davos is the example as to why the Democrats kept Biden headed. They did not want to embarrass themselves.
Mm.
That man talked for an hour. I know it's not his fault that he's illiterate. What I mean by illiterate, that man's never read a book in his life. Sorry, he hasn't. It's not his fault that he knows nothing about history,
Mm.
and it is not his fault that he is 80 and showing signs of his mind slipping really badly.
Mm.
What is his fault is that he deliberately listens to lies and takes them as truth. One lie that he heard on Fox News is that after World War II, the United States owned Greenland. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
It never happened. Did they have bases on Greenland? Yes. And who took them out? Well, basically the U.S. government because they didn't see a need for them. And when they started closing bases, Greenland was one that went by the sideline, just like they've closed armed bases in the United States and other places. Greenland went by the
So fluent.
There has always been an agreement with the United States and Greenland and Denmark that if the United States ever wants to return and put bases there, that they would lease them to them at a fee in certain areas of Greenland, and that they've been welcome. As a matter of fact, when he kept talking about it, that they needed national security, Denmark would say, "You want to rent a space here to put some military to protect us from?" They always offer that. So when he said we worked out a deal, that's the problem. That the man lies so much. That deal was always on the table. He just took it now after he went an hour and lied like there's no tomorrow. After he insulted everybody, after he tried to bully everybody, and after he embarrassed me. Maybe he didn't embarrass you, but he embarrassed me as an American.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump embarrassed me as an American. He went on a rampage of lies, of bullshit, insulting people, and making this country weaker. Oh, you don't agree with globalism? You're an idiot. Strength is in the numbers. I did not make up that phrase.
Right. Well,
Now, I'm going to say to everybody, I don't need anybody else. I'm self-sufficient. In this day, you want Europe to be with China and with Russia. You want Africa to be with China and with Russia. You want Central America to be with China and Russia. You want South America to be with China and Russia. And I can keep. You want Canada to be with China and Russia because we are self-sufficient. We don't need any help. Well, let me tell you something. You go into Home Depot, you know where the wood that you're putting up to build your house comes from? Canada. The northeastern United States, you know where your energy comes from? Canada. Okay? Look, this thing of we want to isolate ourselves will be the downfall of the United States of America. I repeat myself. He's created the downfall of the United States of America because he's a moron.
However, Jimmy, his worldview is America first. We that's very clear. And with
No, it isn't.
how is it that it's not America first when he wants to bring back or reestablish the Monroe Doctrine with the Trump corollary and take care of our neck of the woods, the Western Hemisphere? That's America first. That includes
that is not America first. That's the misconception that the White House has sold you. They have to agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. God, you're agreeing too much with that woman.
Jimmy, not MTG. That's not true.
But what she's saying, and I agree, America first is leaving the rest of the world outside and dealing with our issues. That's America first. It's not getting into Greenland. It's not getting into Venezuela. It's taking care of our people here first. Not sending money to foreign countries and taking care of our people first. That's America first. It's an isolation thing. It is not protect the bullshit that they went into Venezuela because of America first. Look, with all due respect, half of Latin America and even the United States has contracts with China. So what's the big deal of China having a contract with Venezuela? So that's why
it should be with us first, though, Jimmy. I mean, really, in our own backyard, and China has done a masterful job with their Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah, but we've been pushing our allies away. Why? That's the problem. I don't want anything to do with you. You're a bunch of assholes, but you have to do what I tell you. That's that's not the Monroe Doctrine. It isn't.
But the same allies in NATO that want us to have the forever war in the Ukraine. That doesn't make sense. There's no reason.
No. Hold it. That's false. The ones who want to maintain that war forever is Russia. And because Donald Trump doesn't have the cojones to confront Putin, he's afraid of Putin. Donald Trump is afraid of Putin. No ifs or question about it. Or that, or Putin has bought him out. Okay? Because any other leader in the world, he would tell, fuck it, stop this. You're out of line. No. The war was started by Russia, and the problem that the people in Europe know and understand that if they don't stop Putin, he's not going to end up in Ukraine. He's going to go to Poland. He's going to try to get into Europe. Or you stop him now, or you forget about him later. Look, he's a bully, and you don't. If you let the bully hit you more than twice, you're going to be his bitch for the rest of your life.
But we're still talking. We're talking about the same European countries that are taking Russian oil and gas to heat their homes.
It's the cheapest one for them. Are we selling them gas and oil?
No, they're getting it straight from Russia.
But look, because it's cheaper, we get it from Canada, and now the Americans hate Canada.
I think it's the other way around. Canada wants us to bow to
we treated them so nicely. We treated them so nicely, and then we're pissed off that they're pissed off. That's the new American way. I insult you, and you take offense to my insult, so you're wrong.
They're insulted that one. We want to level the economic playing field with them, and therefore, the terrorists. Even out the terrorists with Canada, and also Canada.
Hold on. You just made a statement that I don't understand. How does the tariffs level the field?
Oh, we were paying more in imports from Canada than they were paying in exports from the United States, and also another thing.
Hold it. Those numbers don't make sense. What's our number one export?
The number one exporter, China. We're second.
No. What's our biggest export?
Our biggest export?
Yeah.
Oh geez. If it's not semiconductors, it's got to be. I think it may be oil. Maybe.
No, services.
Ah. Okay.
Okay. And Canada buys from us. Look, this myth, and I'm going to call it a myth. First of all, no economist who knows and respects himself would say anything different, and no mathematician. Look, is there an imbalance in the world in products? Yes.
Sure.
And I'll give you an example. There's a huge imbalance, one of the most biggest imbalances that we have after China
Okay.
is with Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
We buy more petroleum from them than they buy shit from us. It's a known factor.
Mm-hmm.
But are we putting tariffs on Saudi Arabia? Fuck, we would be putting tariffs on the gasoline that we buy from them. No. It is a selective thing. Donald Trump is a moron. Oh, well, they sell us more than we buy from them. Well, find a way to sell more. Find a way to sell more. I'm sorry. You know, this, I'm going to punish you because you're selling to us more than than you're buying from us. Find a way to sell more. What do we produce? Nothing. What do we manufacture? Nothing.
We have to change that.
No, we don't. We don't. I'm
We don't
sorry.
have to change that, Jimmy. We
No, we
should have
don't.
manufacturing here.
No, we don't, because we can't. I'll
Mm.
give you an example. Have you ever heard of Lavoris?
Who? What?
Lavoris mouthwash?
No.
It's a mouthwash that was made in New York for many years.
Okay.
It would be sold in the Dollar Tree for $1.25.
Okay.
So in the good old days, it was $1. Okay. Now you go online on Amazon and it's selling for $12.
$12.
$12.
Jeez.
And this is the part that we do not know. Who's the richest man in the United States?
The richest man in the United States, Elon Musk. He's a U.S. citizen.
And where does he sell most of his products? Worldwide.
Yes, it's Tesla's. Yes,
His Starlink and all that is worldwide.
Yes,
We don't talk about that. Who's the second richest man in this country?
Bill Gates.
No, he's the fourth.
Second richest man in, not Peter Thiel, not Sergey or Larry. Think, David. What's his name? Jeff Bezos. No, Mark Zuckerberg.
No. Jeff Bezos from Amazon.
Okay.
And Amazon sells worldwide.
Yes,
But Amazon is an American company. So when we talk about the trade deficit, we don't include that because basically it's the numbers that don't come in. This is why we keep lying to ourselves. We need to manufacture. What for? If anything, Bezos proven to you that you can produce something any place in the world, and through Amazon, he will distribute it any place in the world. I'm sorry.
Well,
E-commerce is the way of the future. I'm sorry, when people say we're going to manufacture, what for? You're not. The exportation, importation is of materials.
Mm-hmm.
Ideas, those, they come and go. Software, we're the largest producer of software, but that's not put in a boat, so it's not shipped out. That is put in an envelope and sent in the mail. But Amazon has the second richest man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And what they have sold is books. What they sell is food. Whole Foods, for the record, for those of you, food, yeah, Whole Foods. They sell everything that you could put under the. You need a camera to take a picture. They sell. You want to buy an unlocked phone? You buy it on Amazon. And does everything that Jake Bezos sell goes only to the United States? Bullshit.
No, worldwide.
Do you know why he put it in Seattle, Washington? You have any idea?
I think because of the shipping ports in Seattle, being here in America, closer to China or as close to China as it can get, and still distribute everything in the contiguous 48 states.
The second largest client that Amazon has is Canada.
Ah, makes
We
sense.
don't think of. You see, these are the lies that they keep telling us. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
But Jimmy, didn't we learn
Seattle, because Seattle is right next to Canada.
right? But then we learn a hard lesson during the pandemic when we could not manufacture the protective equipment like the N95 masks and other protective equipment. We just did not have the capability to do so.
Well,
And
fine. And for the record, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to say your premise. The inventors of the vaccine that took care of COVID-19 were not in the United States either, were they?
that's correct.
But this is the problem I have with this. See, again, lies that they keep telling us. Why are the pharmaceutical companies outside the United States?
Oh, because they're able to take the U.S. patents for these drugs, create these drugs at a cheaper rate, and sell them back to America at a higher rate.
Okay, who owns Pfizer? Who owns Lilly?
Who owns Pfizer? The family.
It's a corporation, but mostly owned by Americans. Lilly, the same. What I'm trying to say, all these people that tell you, take this pill, and this pill will solve your thing, that you cannot go on TV without watching them. These are all American companies.
Right.
But they don't manufacture in the United States for two reasons. One, the cost. And two, because they can't get the tax incentives that the Philippines, that Europe gives them to manufacture them over there. So when we talk about that there's a disconnect, there is. But we have to accept that it's our fault. Look, in Puerto Rico, Lilly is there, down there. And one of the things that they will tell you flat out is that the government of Puerto Rico trains their employees for free. The government of Puerto Rico gives them a workman compensation cost for very little. The government of Puerto Rico charges them less for electricity, and their percentage of taxes in Puerto Rico is lower than and I'll give you your home state, that if they did it in Illinois, where Illinois has state taxes, and plus you have to pay federal taxes. So it's cheaper for them to be in Puerto Rico than in Illinois. That's the whole reality. When we talk about the deficits, we created the deficits. Why? Well, the people, the manufacturing in Pfizer in Philippines, they average $12.50 an hour.
Right.
People at McDonald's make more than that.
Wow.
That's the reality that we don't want to talk about because, this is the battle. Look, with all due respect to Donald Trump, he's not an economist. With all due respect to Donald Trump, he has no knowledge of how the economy works or how it functions. He does not care about the American people. Donald Trump cares about himself. His family has enriched themselves. He would take a tariff, threaten you with it. You buy bitcoins in his thing, and he takes it away. He's corrupt. But when they keep telling me that there's a deficit, yeah, there is. But we created it. Look, Oreo cookies that I love. I love Oreo cookies. And you do too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
They don't manufacture in the United States. They manufacture in
anymore.
Mexico. Why? Because it's cheaper to do it down there.
Yes.
Because there's no unions down there. Because there's no contract negotiated down there. Because down there, the government of Mexico provides the health insurance, which we don't, but they do. And we say, well, why do they do it there? Because it's cheaper. It's not any other reason. So when we talk about that, we buy our Oreos from Mexico. Yeah, bring them back. No, Nabisco's not going to manufacture them here because it's too expensive. That is our problem. Do we have a trade deficit? Definitely. Do you want to pay? I'll go a step further. Do you want to pay more for something simply because it's manufactured in the United States? Oh, I'll feel safer. I don't. I really don't. Is it going to be a better product? I don't know. I mean, people have been drinking pills in this country for the last 50 years that are not made in this country.
Wow.
And I have not heard any of the news media come out and say, hey, this is a problem. But
Right.
the last one that we do know that was produced in this country by Purdue, OxyCondom,
Yeah.
was produced here.
Yeah.
And created addicts here because they never sent it around the world because they knew that they could not pass inspection the rest of the world. Here they were able to pay the FDA and get away with it. Yes. The truth of the matter is that, yes. And by the way, let me ask you one question.
Sure.
Where are medications the most expensive in the world?
Oh, to purchase, it would be here in America.
You know what the new tourism is in Central America right now?
Yes. America's going down to Mexico and South America for dental work, for medication, for surgery. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the last time I went, what used to be restaurants and souvenir shops
Mm-hmm.
in Costa Rica and Mexico, and can't remember the other place, Santo Domingo, are no longer souvenir shops. They're pharmacies. We have regulations here to purchase medication. You go into, if it's not a drug, and I'll give you an example. Fentanyl that I drink, not fentanyl, oh my God, that was a real big fluorine thing. But medication I drink for my acid reflux, you can get it online here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. And it's something like $1 a pill if I go online. If I go to Dominican Republic, it's 25 cents a pill. It's the same medication and the same thing. And by the way, this is something that I learned the hard way. I take a medication which used to be called Cristal, number 10 for my cholesterol. Okay. I went and I purchased. The pharmacist in Walgreens said, "Look, sir, I want to advise you that what we're giving you is generic. And generic is made by about 8 companies around the world, this medication. And the one that you picked up here was made by this company, and your pills were rose. And before you come running back here and tell me they're different because these are yellow, it's the same medication, but in generics, it's made by different companies, and the pill colors are different. So when people tell me that we have a trade deficit, yes, we do, but it's auto-imposed. Bring back factories? Yeah, really? What? Are we going to pay? We're the most expensive country in the world for medications. If we produce these same medications in the United States, you would be paying 10 times more. That is our problem. We do not want to talk about it because
Right.
they lied to us. Oh, there's a deficit, and we need to. If we force them to pay more tariffs, the factories will come here. And I'm going to end with this: the wood that we buy from Canada is from their woods,
Okay.
and the reason we're buying wood from their woods is because we don't have that much left, and it's 10 times cheaper to buy from them
Mm-hmm.
than to buy it here. As a matter of fact, we know that the recycle has gone down by the ways for years. We have their little things to make us feel good, but recycle is a joke. As a matter of fact, the bottled waters that you drink out of, they're not produced here.
Oh man.
You like your little bottle of water, but
I
the
do.
bottle is not produced. Why? Because it's cheap. That is why we needed to end this. We need to accept. Is there a trade deficit? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, I have a trade deficit that you don't have
And what's that?
with my barber. I buy from him. He doesn't buy anything from me. But you don't have that.
Well played, Jimmy. Well played. The healthcare system is so frustrating, which is a good segue to our comments that were made recently on TikTok, which talks about the healthcare system. And
Okay.
this was in response, 3 comments in response to the short or the TikTok. Where's the Republican health plan? And the first one I want to get to is Fat Duck 03 said their healthcare plan is no healthcare plan. They fundamentally don't believe that the government should do anything about healthcare. You want to say something quickly about that?
That is correct. They want people to purchase their things from the private industry, which is a novel concept. But what they don't say is that if we don't help these people out, we're paying for them when they go to the emergency room. Because when they cannot pay that bill, we are all paying for it. So we're better off getting some type of help from the government. Plus, they take my money. Give it back to me so I can get health care. Sorry. You take my money, give it back to me so I can get some help.
And this is an alternative point of view from Chumbawamba Toes, who's commented before. So thank you, Chumbawamba Toes. Welcome back. The government becoming involved in healthcare was a massive, all caps, massive mistake. Every time the government gets involved, it goes to poop, shat.
Well, let me respond to you in a very candid way. If that is true, the seniors of this country are doomed. We depend on a plan that's called Medicare. Medicare is the best run health program in this country. It's the most comprehensive. 92% of all doctors in this country accept Medicare, but there's not even more than 40% of doctors that help Humana or United Care at the same time. Basically, when you say that the government screws it up, with Medicare, they have done it right, they have done it correctly, and they have done it in a correct way. Giving an incentive to say, hey, David, you're a hardworking person, but you need some help from us to help pay your health insurance. And on the Obamacare, we're going to pay you, the company that you picked, X amount of dollars to help you out, pay your health insurance. That is the way to go in one aspect. You picked it. It was not imposed on you. And basically what we're doing is helping you out. There's nothing wrong with helping out people. So when you say that the government did a massive thing, I would just like one respond to my question. What did they do that affected the health of over 11 million people in this country who receive Obamacare?
I want to thank Ladder 707, the Duke 401, and Chadney Wilson, who also chimed in on this particular content. And it's almost split evenly in the comments in regards to, helping Americans get with the government becoming involved, and government becoming involved is not so helpful. One comment is that the Republican health plan is the Democrat health plan. It's all the same health plan. They're all the same party. That was the Duke in his comment.
I wish you were right. I really do. I wish, and I pray to the Lord that this division between Republicans and Democrats end. I wish that we could all agree that we're Americans, that we are hurting together, and that China and Russia is benefiting extremely from our division. I disagree with points of view, and I know there are people who disagree with me. But I think it's time that we respect each other and that we try to work together. And if the Republicans and Democrats have worked together in the past to help us out with health care, that's a good thing. If Democrats and Republicans pass a budget that allows our government to invade Venezuela by funding the Department of Defense, that's a good thing. Us splitting and insulting each other is a bad thing. Look, let's agree to disagree, but let's agree that we're all Americans and that our responsibility is to help each other.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, commenters. We really appreciate it. Keep the comments coming, and we will respond to them online and also on the show when given the chance. So this is a good segue to our favorite
Fuck up of
part
the
of
week.
the show. Jimmy, who are our fuck ups of the week?
Unfortunately, I have to give the honor this week to Donald Trump.
There you go. All right.
Look, I know that Donald Trump, you have problems following instructions. I know you have serious problems following the script. I know you have been misinformed by your staff, by Fox News, and by others. I know you have certain beliefs that I understand where you're coming from, but I do also do not understand that you are the president of the United States and that you represent me and every citizen of this country. Going on a rambling thing for an hour, talking incoherent, threatening our friends, insulting our friends, all so you can feel big about it, is the fuck up of the week. But more important, you're trying to change the order of the world. We're not going to have any allies. So next time we get in trouble, nobody's going to come and help us out. If you think you're going to try to create a more balanced commerce by insulting people, I don't understand your logic. If you think you're going to make people do what we tell them to do by insulting them, I don't understand your logic. But what is worse is that you stand up and tell lies. Greenland was never part of the United States. What happened in World War II, let me give you a history lesson, because apparently your staff is incapable of talking to you, was that Norway was taken over, and so was Denmark, and Greenland was left to fend for itself. Truth of the matter, the Nazis never attacked Greenland. They couldn't get that far. And even though there were submarines around them, there were submarines of the Nazis and the whole Atlantic Ocean bombarding our ships, England ships, and other ships. We never owned them. They were never invaded. And we have not done that. The other lie that you said to us at the end is that they were worked out a deal. From day one, from 1946, United States and Denmark had an agreement that if the United States felt necessary to put any military bases on Greenland, that they would negotiate it and that it would be permitted as long as the terms were dictated by Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
And what have you done? You've taken that 1946 agreement and try to say that it's something new. Liar. That is not true. That was previously. As a matter of fact, a month ago, in one of the news medias, one of the people from Denmark said, "Hey, look, if you want to put some bases here, we could work it out." You did not do anything other than insult people. If Joe Biden had talked like that, we would have said it's time to remove him. It is time to show that he's old and senile and that he's crazy and he needs to be replaced. So, Donald Trump, you need to be replaced. Hopefully, come this year, we will elect a new House and a new Senate in which controls and does their job for once and for all. Now, let me go into the Republican fuck up. People in the U.S. House, you need to do one thing. The campaign issue for us to win is not ICE. It is not anything else but doing two basic things. Affordability, affordability, affordability. Second, uncovering the lies, the misinformation, and the distractions that Republicans are doing. It's kind of interesting that the only state that ICE has gone in force in the last 6 months is Minnesota. And if you think that's by chance, you're an idiot. They went there to provoke the liberals of Minneapolis. They went there with a thing to go and threaten the people of Minneapolis. They went there with a plan to distract and hopefully to get a new senator out of Minnesota because Minnesota was out of control. Who created the situation in Minnesota? It's a response to what ICE did. And who controls ICE? The Republican Party. You need to be going out there and telling the people of the United States that their president is misinforming them, creating a distraction, so he doesn't have to deal with affordability. He doesn't have to deal with the prices of gasoline going up. He doesn't have to deal with the fact that after he said to you that Venezuela would pay for itself, it isn't. And he is hiding from you the Einstein files. Okay? Now, having said that, I wanted to give some kudos to the Democrats because many of the members of the committee that subpoenaed the Clintons voted to have them arrested. At least that party, when you misbehave, your party votes against you to say, you refuse our subpoena, we're holding you in contempt. I wonder if the reverse was the same with Republicans. I think we all know the answer to that. So since I set the fuck up, I'm going to throw you a little kudos there because you did finally get one right. Even though you don't know it, you finally got one right. With that, remember, subscribe. Remember, like, dislike. Give me your comments. I respond to your comments as much as I can. You might not agree with us. But let's leave with this thought. We're all Americans. Let's agree to disagree. The enemy is called China, Russia, U.S. Congress, and U.S. Senate, not ourselves. Do not divide this country. Unite. With that, good night and see you soon.
Good night, Jimmy. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
You too. And don't work too hard.
Oh, I'll try not to.